Hey, what up? It's New Age Ja, and I'm so happy to finally be creeping back. Now, let's talk about the Gemini full moon that's happening Saturday, December 18th, 19th. I haven't looked at the astrology in days, and I really don't plan on it. Reason being is that I'm intuitive. I'm a Cancer. A lot of my work entails feeling into nature, my inner nature as well as outer, and collecting information, details in regards to the collective experience. So Gemini, the sign of communication, I'd like to say duality in partnership or dual communication. Gemini is your local environment or governs your local environment in the third house, as well as communication via any form, truly, electronically, written, snail mail. And with our recent Mercury retrograde, I believe this Gemini full moon is going to conclude the contacts that came about during the most recent Mercury retrograde. We considered a lot of contacts, friends, relationships, past, old friends, new friends. We considered in the ways that we wish to communicate with others, how to communicate with others, how to communicate to ourselves, our modality of expression via social media, internet, finding your way to actualize your voice, okay? In the midst of that, connections were reviewed, or connections have been reviewed, and we've given a lot of scenarios a good second thought. This Gemini full moon brings all of that into its conclusion. It seems like an extra long mercurial cycle, and this isn't anything scientific. This is intuitive again, and I can go both ways, literally. So we're also coming upon clarity, closure, conclusion, as well as fulfillment in our expression, how we communicate ourselves, how we communicate to others, how we project our communication, and how we've altered and changed that communication. We no longer speak the same way we used to, communicate the way we once did, nor do we collab with others perhaps as frequently as we once did, which has required major adjustment. This Gemini full moon energy, relationships and friendships are closed for good. A good amount are closed for good. You're sealing communication. You're cutting off communication. You're stopping communication. You're putting up boundaries in this full moon. There's a complete illumination into the darker recesses of this area, this component of life. If you want to get a little bit more intricate, take a look at what Gemini rules in your chart, what houses, what planets, right? Conclusion and full illumination into your communities, your base community. Perhaps you'll be considering a move into a different social circle, a different social happening, perhaps even a new neighborhood community altogether. You've been enlightened as to what it is that you've been searching for, looking for. A lot of cantankerous or tankering behaviors and mannerisms. Looking for a way about, this needs to work somehow, but if I just tweak this just a little bit, or if I just take this bobby pin and bend it this way and this rubber band and I can make it work. So all kinds of inventive entrapments or inventive ways of trying to forge communication. All of that stuff is being thrown by the wayside as your inventions have served you no good in the plights of destruction. So let's get some collective energies for this Gemini new moon, okay? Gemini full moon. So we had 2 cards flip here, and then this one wanted to come out. Okay, so we have lunar eclipse change. Oh, correct. I forgot to mention the eclipses. So the brilliance of this, the head of this, came up with the last solar eclipse in Sagittarius. You were shown something around this time. A vision of yours or a dream of yours expanded, blew up into an overproportionate manner. On the other half of that, perhaps a vision or a dream that you had completely disseminated, dissipated, disappeared. And the Gemini full moon in opposition to that solar eclipse is what's going to bring further illumination and or completion as the rotation has come full circle. Okay. Right. 8th house, endings and beginnings, right? We've come full circles, and then we have the 7th house, which is opposite from the 1st house, opposite from ourselves, which then places emphasis and or confirmation on the opposition between the solar eclipse in Sagittarius and the Gemini full moon, and the endings as well as beginnings within partnerships, friendships, and how we communicate. And this is also emphasizing and or confirming the change in the relationship dynamics, bringing great transformation and changes. We are no longer doing relationships, communication, although Gemini is not the 7th house, but we need Gemini in order to do Libra. Libra can't do anything without Gemini. So 8th house, endings and beginnings. 7th house, partners and change. I'm not trying to be here all day, so this is supposed to be sweet and to the point, because you guys are all really smart too, and you know how to put it all together, right? Right? Gemini North Node. Mercury retrograde reinvention. Further confirmation for you to look back into the most recent Mercury retrograde period, as well as the eclipses, as there's a head coming here. Pimple popping, full illumination, truth revealing, clarity in expansion, clarity in movement, clarity in communication, clarity in style, clarity in the way that we learn, talk, move, fix, analyze, observe, communicate. Once again, so many different ways to communicate. In the bottom of the deck here, we have destiny. So we see Yod. So we have a destiny activation taking place here as well. Major fated changes that might not seem like a big deal to you, because Gemini can get lost in the frivolous details sometimes. So there's a potential to be looking at something that doesn't really have anything to do with what's actually in change, because it doesn't seem as big or obvious to you. So take a little closer into your immediate environment so that the illumination can take place. My nose is always wet and runny. Okay. Ace of Cups. Ooh, okay. What does the Ace of Cups represent? This is a herbal supplement, natural mind fuel. It's called Synapse. And it's for precision, intensity, endurance, focus, clarity, energy. And it's all herbal. I got it in the organic section. Tastes like Mountain Dew on steroids. Okay, so Ace of Cups to me, rising out of the ocean, there's like this birth of Venus thing happening here. This birth of Venus happening here when Venus went into Aries. Aries, Venus, solidarity. Solidarity in ego expression, or allowing your ego to come forward within the relationship sector, no longer allowing your persona, emotional self to be drowned out by the emotions of another. Venus in Aries, exerting your sense of self, being heard, being seen, being recognized, individualizing. Okay, and saying, I am too a person, and I am too able to do what it is that I want, and say what I want, and express how I want, and I'm no longer going to allow myself to be drowned out by the emotions of the dynamic. I'm going to stand up, because there's certain things that I'd like to be recognized for before I can get lost in a relationship dynamic or a friendship dynamic or a business dynamic. So there's basically a completion of identity as we now learn to communicate that. And this may manifest itself as a new feeling, a new sense of self, as this is not a small transformation. It's a big way that we present ourselves. It's a whole revolutionizing of the childlike mind that now has the ability to come up and say, this is how I feel, and this is how I am, and these are the kinds of emotions that I carry, and I value that. And I need you to be able to show me or extend the same sense of self, so that I no longer become drowned out by your value, okay? Or by your gain. So this is being an immovable force of life that becomes undeniable. Ace of Cups. This is a new opportunity at, not, I want to say attacking, but a new way of attaching yourself to romantic situations. My goodness, my nose. Hold on a minute. Okay, sorry. This is a new way of feeling, communicating the emotional self, embodying the emotional self, presenting yourself in partnership, a new healthy way of being able to present yourself emotionally onto others, so that you are pleasing to others, so that when you have the opportunity to merge with someone, that you are gracefully received. Okay, Ace of Swords, this is confirmation. This is also clarity in speech and thought as well. Clarity in emotion, and there's a purity here. There's good intention here. You're able to approach your relationships, your partnerships, the way that you handle your siblings and cousins and your immediate environment, how you go about learning and teaching and moving about. There's a whole new you in this arena. There's a whole new you in this arena. And if you're not the one who has undergone the change, then someone significant in your environment is going to exude these changes for you, which will ultimately have an effect on the way that you do business, if you would, or the way that you would handle things like this, if you would. So having 2 aces warrants that we have just overcome major upheaval, major competition, battle, divergence, friction, intensity, burden. Okay, we've dealt with anxiety, pain, staying up, betrayal. Okay, being blocked out, being confused, having no sound, being muted. And we've also dealt with the lowest points of depression and loss. We've also have experienced the pinnacles of familial success, in a sense. Okay? Knowing how to collaborate amongst a family unit and having successfully created an ideal that you are now able to put into play, to manifest. As the opportunities are here, the playing field is being cleared, it's being cleaned. Clean slate, Gemini full moon, full illumination, completion in this area. Okay, let's get one more. One or two, we'll see how it goes. Thank you, Heavenly Divine Father, for allowing me to honor you and to be your servant. I love serving God. It's my ultimate favorite thing. Okay. 7 of Pentacles. Maybe someone doesn't like the idea that you're changing. Maybe someone thought that you were going to stay the same forever. Maybe you don't exactly see that this opportunity is present because you're stuck on what it is that you have and only what it is that you have, and not taking your eyes off of it, not giving it a chance to bear fruition. This is also time invested, but a sense of doubt that you're not going to get exactly all that you've put in. Feeling that you're not going to get that equal payback, or that maybe that you're only 7/10 of the way. But this is mental conflict. Not feeling like you have enough, or that you are not enough, or not understanding that what you have is enough, and being reluctant into investing this in order to create this new venture, forward movement, and or path of discovery, bringing clarity into your environment. So this is reluctance of investment, investing into what it is that you know that you deserve, but you equally cannot attain that because you're conflicted as you're conflicted as to what you know should be yours. But again, this is why clarity is being brought here, so that your uncertainty can be cleared and renewed. Okay? Petty attitudes, petty arguments, petty conflicts, these things need to be left in the past. Comparing what you have with others, not feeling good enough, trying to find excuses as to why things never work out, petty thought patterns, behaviors, feeling like you holding a grudge a little bit. This stuff is dead and gone. This shit is dead and gone. It's gone. And I don't know about you, but 7 of Pentacles and 5 of Swords, I'm not with that. So we have a couple flipped up cards. Let me see how many. Okay. 3. So we have the 4 of Swords, right? It's like waking up the next morning and realizing that the fight you just had last night over some bullshit, maybe some money, savings, investments, some shit that you have, like some time that you've invested, some work that you can never get back, and you wake up the next morning and, you know, said some hurtful shit, you know, maybe you said what you wanted to say, you got some shit off your chest, but, you know, maybe you won that battle, but it was like a weak one battle, you know, and now you're like thinking to yourself, like, what did I do? Was that worth it? Like, now how am I supposed to show them that I have the Ace of Swords and the Ace of Cups for them when I just really acted a fool? And now I feel like an idiot, and it's time to rest. So we could be thinking about some mishaps within our relationships, maybe some quarrels within family dynamics and friendships and business situations. You know, maybe we're thinking about some petty shit that just came in between our loved ones and the way that we communicate. You know, holding on to some shit, to some grudges that just don't allow you to be your authentic self, that could be potentially blocking you from these blessings that are coming in, you know? So, you know, you could be feeling a little bit more tired, bogged down, a little bit more regretful, remorseful a little bit, but that's just a thought. It's a passing and fleeting thought, right? The Seven of Cups, this is thinking about everything that you've been through, going through all the options where maybe you could have overindulged here, maybe neglected this, whatever. If it, you know, thinking about abandonment and abandonment issues and how we, you know, do that onto others and our loved ones without meaning, and it just ends up being a repetitive cycle. And this is again what's coming to a conclusion. This is what's changing. Okay, family matters, hidden matters, unseen, lunar eclipse, home, mother, feminine, change. Okay, emotional soul change. In regards to partners, endings and beginnings, right? These taboos, these karmas, and reinventing ourselves in the way that we approach these situations. So I hope that makes sense for you. Okay, I hope that this reading, this expression blesses you today, moving forward, and that you are smart enough to come to the conclusion that you're ready for something new, that you're ready for change, and that you're okay with releasing and cutting off the old, even if it seems like you might be losing some change, you know, like a little bit of, but fuck it. Okay, so I'll talk to you soon. Thank you. Later.